So you've landed on this video because you do want to raise your vibration, you want to manifest your dream life, but you just can't quite bridge the gap. And most of the videos you're watching are extremely overwhelming. Maybe they're using too many jargon words, technical terms, and things that you don't quite understand. Maybe you don't even understand what the frequency is all about, or how energy works and so on. So I'm going to try and simplify it into just 4 steps so that you can start to bridge the gap and start your actual journey into improving your life. Whether you want to improve your health, whether you improve your wealth, your relationships, or even just become a happier person overall. Okay, so instead of me going through what you usually see on YouTube about all these laws and everything else, I'm just going to break it down into just 4 principles. Okay, 4 things that you just need to focus on, and number 1 is going to be the most important. Okay, so instead of you worrying about learning the 12 laws of the universe, the law of assumption, reversibility, detachment, blah 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 blah, that can wait for later. First things first is you need to understand that your physiology is directly linked to your energy. And you are energy. You are the purest of energy. Energy cannot be destroyed. Energy cannot be created. Energy is just transferred, okay? And you're either in a low energy state, a medium, or a high. And when you have a low, medium, or high energy, your body vibrates at those levels, okay? So it causes a vibration. And the reason why it causes a vibration is because we are made of atoms. Whether you believe it or not, like, there is something inside you. I believe it's your soul. And that soul is operating your brain and your body, which is this meat sack, as a machine. And it operates it every single day. And it either operates it in a daily basis to move you one step closer towards your goals, your dreams, your inspiring and compelling future, or it just operates in the same way it did the day before, and therefore you're just bringing the past back into the present, okay? And I apologize for the noise in the background. There's some building works going on in the villa next door, and also you've got my wife's feet in the background as well while she sunbathes here in the garden today. So as I was saying, like, we are all atoms, right? So we're all atoms. We are made of atoms. My dog is made of atoms down here. This bench is made of atoms. The house is. Everything's made of atoms, and these atoms vibrate at different frequencies, okay? So when there's a vibration, there is a frequency. And where your energy is at right now, so if your energy is quite low, you're always tired, fatigued, and so on from there, then the first thing that you need to work on is your physiology. And what I mean by your physiology is movement, is sleep, is rest, recovery, breathing, posture, the food you eat, exercising, and so on. But the first thing to start is going to be with movement and food. Okay, I'm not going to give you one of these like keto diets or one of these fads or anything like that, but you just want to start eating whole foods. Because you may have seen people talking about, we live in this matrix, we live in a simulation, right? And if this is to be true, then there has to be a fake simulated world, and there has to be a real world, right? Like, you watching me right now, I am real. I am flesh and blood. I am in the real world. If you look at the grass behind me, that's real. If you look over there, there are lemon trees, and those lemons are real, right? If you go to the supermarket, there are foods there that are real, right? And they have one key ingredient in them, and that is the ingredient that makes it. So chicken's main ingredient is chicken, right? The only ingredient in an apple is apple, right? And so on from there. And when you start to put whole foods in your body instead of all the fake plastic processed foods, your body processes and assimilates them in a completely different way. It starts to repair your gut health, it starts to help your liver detoxify, your brain and your gut will start to work in tandem together, because if you have a healthy gut, you have a healthy brain. So your brain fog will go, you'll have more mental clarity, you'll start to get more inspiring thoughts, you'll start to think of new ideas and ventures, you'll start to get like imaginative like you was when you was a child, you'll have more focus, your energy will stay more consistent, and then you'll start to raise your energy. And as you start to cultivate more energy and you start to raise that energy and vibration, you then raise your frequency. And then when you start to raise your frequency and you get into a higher frequency, you start to attract from the universe, right? From the 5D, from what they call the quantum realm, which is what we call the universe, right? This is the stuff that you cannot see, right? To give you an example of it, like some people that are religious, right? You say you're religious, can you prove there's a God? They say, no, I can't, but my faith proves it for me. And what the faith is the faith is knowing that you're going to see the unseen. And right now, if you have a low vibrational state, if you're vibrating at a low frequency, if you're putting bad food into your body, then you are not going to be able to have this faith, have this belief that you're going to be able to eventually see something that is unseen. And what I mean by that is you're eventually going to be able to see a body you're proud of in the mirror when you currently don't feel like you're proud of it. You're going to be able to see more ones and zeros in your bank account in the future, but you can't see them right now. You have this faith, and it turns into courage, and it turns into optimism, and it turns into living life on purpose. And you stop worrying, and you stop fearing, and you stop self-sabotaging, and you start trusting yourself, because you have the energy to start taking action. You have the energy to question reality. You have the energy to question yourself. You have the energy to put one foot in front of the other to try something new. Because a lot of people want to feel good, but they treat themselves like shit. So you've got to start putting good foods into your body, good water as well, and start moving. Just as simple in the morning as getting outside, getting some sunlight in your eyes, grounding if you have any grass in the backyard, and just going for a walk. When you go for a walk, you start to put that motion together. It starts to cultivate energy. It starts to build it up. And then you start to create new thoughts and patterns. And then you start to get creative, right? Like a child. You stop fearing, you start getting imaginative. And then that then leads you on to the next stage, which is once you've got that physiology sorted. So mainly it's just food and exercise. We can then start looking at your focus and attention. And what a focus and attention is that I want you to remember this, right, after this video. And if you take one key thing away from this, I want this to be this. And I want you to repeat this in the comments below if you agree or you're on board. Is that I no longer live my life, I experience life, okay? So I'm no longer living life, I'm gonna start experiencing life. So instead of just saying I'm living, I'm surviving, I'm keeping my head above water, I'm gonna start from now, from watching this video or when I wake up in the morning and take my first breath, I'm gonna lean into experiencing life rather than living life. And the reason why the focus and attention is in alignment with this and they work in tandem is that where your focus goes, your energy flows and the results show. So where you place your attention, so where you place your focus, where you place your attention, that's where you start to gain momentum. And this is to do with everything that you want to attract into life. If you start focusing on the things that you don't want, you start to attract more of the things that you don't want. For example, you can see my wife's feet in the background, right? If we had a little bit of an altercation today, we had a bit of a disagreement or whatever it may be, there's a little bit of a funny energy between us, and I want to approach her later to sort it out. If I start off with these words, all right, babe, I don't want to argue, but, right, what's going to happen? We're going to argue because I've said and I've put out the frequency of what I don't want, and the universe will give me more of what I don't want back. It will only give you the same. It's a mirror. It's an absolute mirror. It just like literally projects back whatever you want. So if I say I don't want to argue, we're going to end up arguing because I've come from a place of lack. I've come from a place of scarcity. I'm coming from a place of fear. And that's the energy field that I'm in, right? So I'm vibrating very low. So I'm only going to get back more of that low vibration. But if I say to my wife, hey babe, I really want to sort out this situation. I just want us to be happy. I just want us to continue on this journey. I just want this resolved. I don't care who's right or wrong. I just want us to hash this out so that we can move forward and just enjoy our evening. We're going to get more of that. And can you even like hear the change in my tonality? Maybe the change in my body language, my facial expressions. I'm literally putting out what I want to get in return. So when it comes to your focus and attention, I want you to imagine, right? And this is a bit weird. We watched this film last night from 1988, called They Live. It's an old film. I think it's got like Rowdy Roddy Piper in it, who used to be a wrestler, right? And he has these like glasses that he finds. And if you haven't seen the film, it's great, right? And it's very, very true to what's going on today, right? And it was way ahead of its time. But basically what happens is this homeless guy, he finds this community, they're living in like like in like rubble. They're living in tents and stuff like that. And there seems to be all of these like rich people, like the elites and everything else. And one day he stumbles on this box and he stumbles on these glasses. And when he puts these glasses on, instead of seeing like the signs for the advertising, it just says like obey, consume, become a slave, right? And whenever he looks at stuff, he sees it for what it truly is. Okay, and the reason why I'm telling you this story is that I want you to imagine that if you had these special glasses, you could see hundreds, if not thousands, of mini little wormholes around you, and each wormhole represents a feeling or an emotion, every single one of them. And when you put these glasses on, you can actually see them. And where, if you place your attention there, you're going to gain more momentum there, right? Because you're tuning into that wormhole, you're tuning into that frequency. The same way as if you're driving in the car and you're listening to a radio station, if you're listening to a song and a genre, maybe it's like hip hop and you don't like hip hop, it makes you feel crap. You can tune out of that frequency and tune into a new one, and you'll find maybe like country music, and that frequency and that vibration of that music makes you feel better. And you can make that decision to be like, well, I don't like listening to this. I don't want to place my attention on this one thing. I'm going to tune out of it. I'm going to tune into a different one. And then you change your feelings. You change your emotions, right? Like energy and motion is an emotion. So you start to change that emotion, but you've made the decision. You've given yourself the power. But what we do in life is we disempower ourselves. We give up our power to others, other people, other things. And we give other people and other things permission to make us feel a certain way. Because if someone is triggering you at work, if somebody's triggering you at home, if someone's making you feel a certain way, it's not them that's actually doing it. It's your thoughts about what they're doing that's making you feel that way. And I'll say that one more time in a different way. So for example, if I go out shopping this afternoon and there's a lady standing a bit too close to me, like I perceive that's a bit too close in my personal space, and that might make me feel a bit angry or a bit anxious, right? It's not her fault, it's not her problem, it's a me problem. So it's not her that's making me feel that way, it's my thoughts about her being close to me that's making me feel that way. So I can change the thoughts, I can change the feelings, and I can stop giving permission to other people and other things for making me feel a certain way. Because we live in this crazy world right now where there are people out there trying to show you love, show you generosity, show you care and support, or whatever it may be. And some of you right now, and I used to be one of these people, you're not even allowing yourself to give yourself permission for them to make you feel that way. You're not willing to accept that good feeling, but you're mainly putting your focus on accepting the feelings and emotions of negativity, of people are being like horrible to you or whatever it may be. So going back to that focus and attention with the frequencies is that if you could see a wormhole every day with these special glasses of like love and abundance and happiness and positivity, you would stare at that all day, right? Because where your focus goes, your energy flows and the results show, and where you place your attention is where you're going to gain momentum. So you start to gain more momentum of feeling happy and loving and positive. And if you start going on that path of looking after your body, looking at your focus and attention, then guess what happens? You start to raise that energy even more. You start to raise that vibration. You start to raise that frequency. And you get into this frequency of abundance. You get into this frequency of love. You get into this frequency of positivity. And if that is your predominant frequency and emotion and feeling every day, then you're going to receive more of it all day, right? It's just how it works. Because you can't, expect to feel good if you treat yourself like crap. Whether you treat yourself like crap with what goes in here, or in here. So when we have all these frequencies, I want you to start empowering yourself and say, I'm going to make a choice. I'm going to look at something else. And there's certain things that do make you feel fearful and crap, right? One of them's social media. I know you're on YouTube right now, but hopefully this is giving you positive vibes. But if you're doom scrolling, you're giving everyone else your attention when you could give yourself attention or your loved ones. When you're doom scrolling, you start looking at the people doing the things that you're telling yourself you can't do while you're scrolling and they're actually doing it. Or you start to compare yourself to others. Like if you start a new business and you start scrolling other people's content and you start questioning yourself, like, am I good enough? Is my content good enough? Do I have the right video editing and the right camera? And is the audio correct, or whatever it may be? And then you start to lower that frequency and lower that vibration, and you go from being in this abundance and optimism and positivity to now lack and fear and scarcity and doubt. So then if you're on that frequency predominantly because of you're not able to consciously catch yourself and be aware enough to catch yourself to say, hang on a minute, I need to look left because looking right is making me feel like shit, it's making me feel not good enough, it's making me feel like an imposter. Otherwise, what's going to happen is that you're going to stay down here and you're just going to attract more fear. You're going to attract more scarcity. So that's point 1 and point 2 covered, right? So your physiology is so important. Before you start reading all these books, before you start studying the 12 laws of the universe, until you start really, diving deep into, psycho-cybernetics or the quantum field or whatever it may be, is start treating yourself better. So start getting more sleep, more rest, drinking better water, eating better foods, and moving your body daily. Then start looking at where your predominant focus and attention is. Is it watching the news? Is it scrolling on social media? Is it listening to, like rap music or abusive music and stuff that lowers your vibration? Then we've got to start looking at your language, right? And I'm not going to go too deep onto these two. And if you want me to go deeper on these or do a separate video for each one, just comment below and I'll do that next, okay? I'm going to be posting a video every day for the next 30 days, just to prove to myself, to prove to my clients that it can be done, and also to take you on this journey with me of how I went from being broke, pretty much a borderline alcoholic, to being financially free for time and location, and moving my beautiful family, my wife, my daughter, my dog, from the UK to the Mediterranean, where we're going to reside for the rest of our lives, right? So now we're looking at your language. Now we're looking at language, which is key to your identity. And there's these 2 words, and these 2 words are the most powerful words you will ever say in your life. And those 2 words are I am, okay? So if you can change your I ams, you can change your world. If you can change your I ams, you can change your results. If you can change your I ams, you can achieve whatever you like. Because whether you think you can do something or you can't do something, or whether you think you're good enough for something or you're not good enough for something, or whether you think you're ready for something or you're not ready for something, you are always 100% right. And I think that's pretty powerful, because then it goes to show that you are your biggest problem, but you're also your biggest solution. But this can also be scary as well, because then we let go of the blame. Then we let go of the conditions. Then we let go of it's different for me. Then we let go of people just don't understand. Then we let go of our stories that are holding us back from greatness, right? I couldn't do it because of the kids, or I was ill, or we're having building works done, or money, or conditions, or the government. We get rid of all that. And we realize that everything in our life and where we are right now is where we're supposed to be. And we have every tool we could possibly need to stay the same. So we can put down some tools and we can pick up some new ones and learn some new skills and start changing our lives. And taking full responsibility that everything is your fault. Nobody's coming to save you, but you can save yourself. And you can start empowering yourself today by changing your I ams. If you're saying to yourself every day, I am an overthinker, I am a procrastinator, I am an unlucky person, then you're going to continue to believe in that, and that's going to continue to create what I like to call, well, not what I like to call, but what people call, I didn't make the word up, a paradigm. And all the paradigm is a lens that you view something through. And if you view, like, let's just say you want to start a new business, or you want to get your health into the best shape, get your health into, I can't even speak today. You want to get yourself into the best physical shape you can, or you want to attract a new partner, or you want to start a business. Let's just say you want to start a business. You're saying, I am not good with tech. Well, then what is the likelihood of you actually picking up the computer and downloading that course, or studying on YouTube, or doing some research, or going into ChatGPT and start building out your first website, or building out your first funnel, or building out your first social media platform, or whatever it may be? The likelihood is going to be very low, right? Because your I ams become your reality. Your I ams become your results, because you're viewing it through the lens of, I'm not good enough, I can't do this, and so on. You may be saying to yourself at the moment, like, I'm not good enough for this, I'm not competent enough. But the thing is that, right now, whatever skill you have or whatever expertise that you have can give value to someone else's life. Like, for example, I help people with manifestation. I help people with leadership, identity shifting. We also help people with sales and marketing. I've created 3 online coaching and education businesses, and we teach people how to do that as well, so they can create financial freedom. But I'm no Gary Vaynerchuk. I'm no Tony Robbins. I'm no Alex Hormozy. I know that, right? But if I say that they're like a level 10, then I could say maybe I'm a level 6 or 7. So if I'm a level 6 or 7, I can help anyone that's a level 5 or below, right? Because I know a couple of steps more than you do right now. And if I raise my skills and I raise my energy and my vibration and my beliefs and I take action, I can get to a level 10. I can help anyone below me. So you might perceive yourself as like, oh, my skill set's a level 3. So you can help all the 1s and 2s, mate. You can help all the 1s and 2s because they're at a stage right now where you know something that they don't know. You have a skill that they don't have. You have some value that they really need from you right now. Hopefully this is still recording. Yeah, I've got 10% battery. Cool. I'm gonna have to wrap this up, right? And you can help those people. And as you start to help those 1s and 2s, because your thirst for knowledge and going out there to try and improve your services will raise to a 4 or 5, you can continue to help them through the journey. And then you can help more people at this level and that level and so on. So your I ams are so powerful because what you think, therefore you are. So start checking yourself with your language. Are you telling yourself that you're not worthy of this and worthy of that? I used to be one of these people. I used to be an absolute fucking melt compared to what I am right now. And that's just from my standards, guys, all right? I used to say I'm not worthy of love. I'm an unlucky person. Bad things always happen to me. I'm not worthy of a relationship. I'm not worthy of happiness. I'm not worthy of love and success and all these things. And I used to say these things repeatedly over and over again. And I was broke. I was in 30 grand's worth of debt. I was working at a job where I wasn't feeling inspired. I didn't have any great relationships, even with friends and family, apart from some close ones. Every relationship I had that broke down. I was always having money troubles, dipping in and out of feast and famine. And then I started to learn about these 4 principles. This is where I started, right? So I started looking after myself more. I started looking at where my focus and attention was going daily. So I stopped watching the news and hanging around with negative people. And I stopped doom scrolling every day. And I started picking up books and courses and focusing on the positives. And I started, meditating, doing breath work and affirmations on a daily basis. And this comes in later. And then I started questioning my I ams. I was like, everything I'm telling myself, do I know this to be true? I was like, well, I don't, because I don't have much evidence to back it up other than I just keep thinking it and I keep getting it. And I was like, holy shit. So now I can't keep doing this, pointing the finger. Because I kept pointing the finger at everyone and everything else for my shortcomings. Because I had this belief that life was happening to me. All the bad shit was happening to me. But I was also hoping and praying that the good shit would happen to me too. Like doing the lottery and a scratch card and stuff, right? It's just this crazy thing, right? So annoyed that bad things happened to me and I'm doing fuck all about it. But also I want all the good things to happen to me and I'm doing fuck all about it apart from buying a lottery ticket. So I started to understand that life's actually happening for me. Like I am the common denominator, because if I point this finger, these 3 fuckers are pointing back at me. So I'm outnumbered. And I was like, holy crap. So I've got to get on my focus, I've got to work on my physiology, and then I've got to work on my language, so no more self-negative talk, start changing my I ams, start reinventing myself and my character, and then the last thing was I had to look at my environment. And what I mean by the environment, this goes hand in hand with everything else, is your environment is like what goes in here, here, and here, right? So you've got to ask yourself, it's like, is your environment right now, and mainly like your peer groups, right? Are they in direct competition with where you want to be going? Are they in direct competition with your goals? So take it from someone that had a booze problem for 10 years, right? So I was pretty much borderline alcoholic. I don't really like talking about it because it dredges up old vibrations and I don't want to subconsciously reprogram myself to go back, but I'll share it with you today. But I used to be that person that said, I don't have a drink problem, but when I drink, I have a problem. It ruined most of the relationships I ever had and the relationship with myself. And then when it comes to me stopping drinking, I had to stop hanging around with people that drank. Because in the beginning, I didn't trust myself enough. Because you probably heard people say this, like Tony Robbins, you're the average of the 5 people you spend time with. And your peer group, right? And your peers are like your friends and the people you're closest with. All your peer group is a bunch of people that you modify your behavior, your language, and your actions for to fit in and get their approval. It's why when you as a teenager, you smoked a cigarette or you threw a brick at a shop window or whatever it is that you did, right? A little bit into my past. But it's to fit in and to get acceptance. You may not want to do it. So when I stopped drinking for 6 months, I didn't hang around with my friends that were pissheads. And the reason for that is because your environment will always trump your will. And if all you're left with is willpower, in my opinion, it's the lowest form of power. And you're going to give in. So I stopped hanging around with drinkers. I removed all the alcohol from my house. So if you want to change your body, you've got a cupboard with all the snacks and fizzy drinks and sweets and candy, get rid of it. Also looking at your environment. If you're constantly watching the news and you want to feel good about yourself, stop feeding your eyes with fear. If you want to start feeling positive, stop listening to the music that just talks about fucking sex, drugs, rock and roll, depression, suicide, killing people, stabbing people, all that crap. Start listening to high vibrational music. Start tuning into music that's on a high frequency. Start listening to things like binaural beats. Start listening to stuff like, I can't remember the guy's name, but I'll comment it below, but someone I've seen on TikTok that has this high vibrational music. And just learn to like be aware of your current environment and say, is this enriching my life? Is this empowering me? Is this taking me one step closer? Or is it actually bringing me down and disempowering me? So I'm conscious of time, my phone battery's about to die, but I would love to hear what your key takeaways are. And as I said before, if you're tired of all the fluff and you're getting confused online with how to do all this manifestation stuff and you don't want to get too overwhelmed, you just have to start by looking after yourself first. Just what foods go in your body, start eating whole foods, stop eating all the fake plastic shit, just start moving every day, even if it's just a 10-minute walk and that builds into an hour. Focus on your sleep, your breathing and everything else. Then you can start looking at where your attention's going. Start controlling your focus. Imagine the wormholes around you. Remember what I said about the radio station. You can tune into whatever frequency you want. You're the antenna. You put out the signal and you get it back every day. Then we're starting looking at your I ams, right? Your I ams will change your world. Change those, you change the outcome, and then look at your current environment. So I hope you got some value from this today, and I'm gonna go put my phone on charge now. Please give me a comment and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Much love.